Okay, so here is my 1970. It's a Kohler electric plant. It's a 3 kilowatt plant, 3,000 watts. It produces 25 amps. It has on it what powers it is a Kohler 181 8 horsepower engine. It was originally gas, but I converted it over to propane. You can see there's the propane bottle right there, and I'll show that in a second. There's the nameplate on the side. You can see it's model 3MM25. Some other details there. You know, how many kilowatts it's got, and what its max amp cycles and all that business is. And then it leaks a little oil. I originally bought this thing for 25 bucks at a yard sale, and it was running on gas at the time, gasoline, and I converted it over to propane. You can see here, this is where the propane goes into the carburetor. The carburetor is just a regular converted carburetor. You can see that the fuel inlet has been plugged off. Plus, down here, this is the old fuel pump, which no longer is needed, but I don't have a plate for it, so it just rides along. One of the other things is this originally was designed so that when there was no load on it, it would just slow itself down, so that would hold the throttle at idle. But that doesn't quite work as well as it used to, but that's fine. This is the regulator that regulates the fuel going into the engine, and it's got a little primer button right here, and then of course your gas. So everything's turned on. One of the other things I did was I added a coil to it because the original magneto had gone bad, so I wasn't getting much spark. Even though I did run this thing for 4 days after Hurricane Irma, it ran quite well, but it was a bear to start. And worst part is that the recoil starter kept getting worse and worse as time went on. So finally, I got to find the recoil for this. So right now, to turn it on, all I do is just hook her up to that. All right, come over here. I'm going to try to do this with my right hand. Give it a couple of squirts of gas. One of the things you can see here is that the ratchet for the starter is like chewed away, and that's because it was just such a pain to get it going. It runs pretty good. Not having much trouble once I get it started. It can be a bear to start it. As I said, sometimes you have to only start this thing with conviction. If you don't have conviction, it will not start. It's just so old. But when it runs great. And that's it. That's the old Kohler power plant.